This week on Previews World Weekly, is Marvel bowing out of San Diego Comic-Con? Plus, we discuss the world's first comic book drawn entirely by AI and those nagging plot holes you just can't get over. It's all happening right now on Previews World Weekly. What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday, which means it's New Comic Book Day, which means it's once again time for Previews World Weekly. I am your host, Ashton Greenwood. Troy is out this week, so I'm joined once again by a very special guest. We have the wonderful Anna back. I'm surprised they keep letting us do this. Welcome back. Let's have some fun.
Yes, anarchy. Let's do this.
Every time me and Mia host the show, it just is like the first half is we're very serious, and then it immediately comes off the rails in the back half of the show.
Yeah, I'm either a good or bad influence. I don't know what they would say.
I think it's a great influence. Ubaldo's checking in, saying, hey, everybody, what's up, Ubaldo? Annie saying hi. Hey, Annie, thanks for joining us. So before we jump in, I want to point out we're coming up on our 200th episode here very shortly. It'll be July 6th. We're returning back to the studio. We're going to, Johnny's putting together some new graphics. It's going to look all fancy and professional. And we're just going to celebrate and do it up big. And that's coming up again on July 6th. So make sure you guys don't miss it. And also on this episode of the show, as I said in the teaser, we're talking about plot holes that bug you. So if you're in the audience and you have a plot hole that irks you, drop a comment and we'll get to it later in the show. Okay, so we have Mia with us. And Mia, you're an official comic book creator these days.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, I've started writing comics for Dynamite, which is amazing. It kind of feels like this full circle of like reading comics, cosplaying characters, and then like now writing those characters. So it's really cool. It's a whole new experience. And we're on Betty Page's The Alien Agenda issue 4 out of 5. Ooh. So we're getting close to the end. So the next issue will be the last one that comes out next month. Really fun story with Betty going on adventures with a little team and tracking down aliens. So I tried to be very like it has hints of like the Mummy and Indiana Jones, like classic adventure movies I love. So definitely go pick that up at your local comic shop. 4 should be possibly still in there because it came out last week. So
I think so. You can also order it through Previews World Toolbox if your shop doesn't have it, and they can get you a copy. Hook you up that way.
Oh yeah, Pullbox is amazing. I started using that, and it's been really easy to get like the comics that I want and ensure that they're going to be at my shop. So definitely recommend Pullbox.
We make it easy. Get on previewsworld.com, find the comics you want, tell Previews World you want your shop to buy it, and they'll buy it for you. It's really that simple. So speaking of comics, new comics are out today. It's Wednesday. So we're going to jump into our picks and then put you on to some other things you can grab at your local comic shop this week. Okay, so Mia, I'm going to make you go first because your pick this week is a doozy.
All right, so my pick of the week is the trade paperback of Chicken Devil from Aftershock Comics. Honestly, what got me was the artwork because I was like, why is there this man in a chicken outfit with a gun? And then the like description really got me. So basically, the guy he's a husband, father to, co-owns this chicken restaurant. So he's basically like the Colonel. And he finds out his business partner owes like a bunch of money to the mafia. And so like now he's got to protect his family. And he's just a chicken guy, So the premise is so crazy. So I'm really kind of intrigued on how this goes.
Like, is there a mascot? I have questions about, like, is there a mascot? Is someone going to be dressed as a chicken? Like, are they going to be fighting dressed as the chicken? Are they going to be shooting people dressed as the chicken? Like, I need to know.
I just think of, like, the only chicken person I can think of is either the Colonel or Gustav Frigg from Breaking Bad. So I'm like, what if he was just in a giant chicken costume killing people? I don't know. So I'm very intrigued. I'm going to go pick this up.
Now I have to get it because I've got a lot of follow-up questions. All right. My pick this week is Archie. I haven't picked Archie in a while. And I have to do it pretty regularly just to remind you guys how much this matters to me. So the best Archie comic ever, #1. This was their free comic book day book back in May. They kind of gave you a taste of this anthology one shot with their free comic book day book. And now they're just going full send with it. And I'm so excited about this because this is what Archie Comics thinks is a summer blockbuster story, right? And it's a fantastic concept. So it takes all the stuff you traditionally associate with Archie, like the romance, the humor, the adventure, the love triangle, whatever, and then just throws in a bunch of stuff you don't associate with Archie, like barbarians and spies and international villains and superheroes, and just like makes all of these ridiculous stories out of it. Like Archie's a superhero. Of course, his name is Pureheart the Powerful, because why would it be literally anything else? And like Jughead's a barbarian and he's like swinging through the jungle, and like Betty's a spy and Veronica is like an international criminal. I'm just so excited for this because it's going to be such a hot mess.
Oh my
and if
God,
you guys want just like mayhem, this is perfect for mayhem.
I love Jughead as the barbarian, and he's still got the hat. I love it.
He's got like the long, like George of the Jungle hair, but like still the crown.
And he's still eating, of course.
Right. They know their branding. All right. So, of course, these aren't the only things available at your local comic shop today. And something we try to hammer home a lot is it's not just comics at your comic shop, too. There's tons of toys, collectibles, statues, figures, whatever you want. So we're going to kick it over to Natasha, and she's going to show us what collectibles are out this week at your local comic shop.
Natasha here, and I'm going to give you a look inside the previews toy chest. Let's find out what's at comic shops for the week of June 15th, 2022. That's not all. Before heading to your local comic shop, be sure to check out previewsworld.com/new releases. There you'll find a complete rundown of everything a toy collector could possibly want.
All right, so like Natasha said, if you head over to previewsworld.com/new releases, you can see the full list of everything that's out today. When I say full list, I mean the full list, like comic books, apparel, games, collectibles, figures, statues, the whole 9 yards. So that's your list of everything that's out this week. You can make your shopping list and take it to your local comic shop. We like to make your life easy. It's sorted by vendor. So if you're looking for a particular thing, say you're looking for just like what's new from Image, we make it easy. You can figure it out that way. What's up next? News. Ooh, let's jump over to some news. There's some interesting stuff going on in the toy world that Mia's going to tell us about.
News about chicken devils.
Don't want it. I don't want it. Mm-mm.
Oh my God. Okay. On that note. Oh God. All right. I don't know if you guys know, but I love Funko. I don't know if you guys have figured out that I love Funko. So Funko made some big moves this week, and one of them is that they have acquired Mondo. Mondo, for those of you that don't know, is actually owned by the same people that do the Alamo Drafthouse movie theaters down in Texas. Really cool. You should check out their like no talking during movies PSA. They're hilarious. But they make these amazing artistic movie posters, and they're sellouts at San Diego Comic-Con. So Funko has purchased them in a huge purchase, and now they are going to be under the Funko family. What this means for Mondo, or at least potentially means, is that they're open to a lot more licenses, which could mean a lot more availability of more, different posters and things that they're going to be able to cover. And then also, I'm hoping that it'll give them the advantage of being able to work with a wider spectrum of artists, since they'll be able to have the financial backing for it too. So big moves. We'll see what happens. But they will be at the San Diego Comic-Con booth from now on. So they've moved from one side to the other.
Yeah, and you'd mentioned this yesterday. There's something crazy going on at Funko's booth in San Diego this year as a result of this acquisition.
So what's crazy is Funko has announced that they're doing Funkoville this year, and they're literally making a town inside San Diego Comic-Con, little square, and it's gonna have a Mondo, like it literally looks like a little like set up brick and mortar store, and then there's like a Funko one, there's the Loungefly booth, and then there's a cafe. Don't know what that is, but Funko's making some big moves for San Diego Comic-Con this year. So it'll be interesting to see what all that means.
Yeah, I'm interested in what the layout of that looks like, because that sounds like that's going to take up a lot of space. And I mean, the Funko booth is pretty big, but I didn't feel like it was that big, at least not in 2019. That's going to be a beast.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, because from the video that they put out, if you go to their social media, they have like a little video where Freddie Funko shows around the little Funko. That's super cute. And it literally looks like a little, you go, there's an archway, like you're going to Disneyland or something. You walk into it, and there's 2 stores and then 2 stores. Whether I think it's going to be indoors. I don't think Funko would take their stuff outside, but who knows this year? San Diego is, I think, it's going to be a crazy, weird year this year, I think, at San Diego. So, I don't know.
I'll be interested to hear how that pans out. What else we got going on? I hate robots, right? A thing. It's a well-known thing. Got some robot news this week, you guys. So yesterday, Living the Line, which is a smaller independent comic book publisher, announced that they were partnering with Diamond to publish the very first fully illustrated comic book that is illustrated by an AI, by artificial intelligence. So it's written by Eisner-nominated cartoonist Carl Grubal. He'll be handling writing, but he's handing over art duties to an AI image generator called Midjourney AI. And basically how this works is Grubal feeds in text prompts to the AI about what he kind of wants these images to look like. And then the AI generates it based on the prompt, based on the direction. And so for this first issue, Grubal has supplied the AI with lines from C.S. Lewis's famous groundbreaking lecture, The Abolition of Man, and used the images that the AI generated to compile it into a comic book adaptation. We have the images up on the Previous World website if you want to look at these, because they are haunting. They are very disturbing in some ways. I think it's an interesting take. What do you think about this, Mia, as a comic book creator, to have AI kind of in the mix?
So for me as a writer, I'm looking at this and I'm like, how detailed of a panel description does this writer have to give in order for the AI to be able to correctly kind of render what he or she is looking for?
Right.
Because the amount of detail that you put into that panel, that's what they're going to do. So if you don't give them a lot of detail, I'm like, what does that panel look like? As opposed to like you're as a writer are having to point out everything from the colors to the mood. I'm wondering what the script looks like if like every panel is like that much of a description. So yeah, that to me as a writer.
That's not even something I thought about. And it's interesting you bring that up, because you have that additional perspective that, like, my initial kind of thought was like maybe it cuts down on production time if you have like it automatically generated through AI, but it sounds like really doesn't that much, because you'd have to spend a significant amount of time on each panel to get the output you're looking for.
Yeah, I think it puts a lot of it onto the writer to make sure that the writer is really describing what the AI is, because there's no like going back and forth and saying, hey, I don't like this, can you change this? No, you get what you get from that computer. And that's a lot on a writer. So that's interesting. More power to him.
I guess so. Johnny, throw up that comment from Annie again. What'd she say? Robots taking over comic writing? No. That's an interesting take. I kind of like, I feel like I wrestled with this when I saw the news yesterday because I think it's an interesting way to kind of like further the comic book industry and kind of like try new things and throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. But at the same time, like I don't know, I feel like the artist is such an intrinsic part of making a comic book. It feels like you're taking away half of the experience.
Mm-hmm. Because it should be like, at least in my experiences with writing, it should be, like a relationship between the writer and the artist and working together on like one project, not like, hey, do this. Like you're basically like forcing it to just do what you want to do, which is kind of, mean, but
that's how we end up with a robot apocalypse.
Exactly. They're just tired of taking all the ish from the writers. No, but it's that same concept of like, doing a lot of CG in movies, and people are saying like CG is getting so good that in the future we may not need actors, or it's not going to matter what the actor necessarily looks like, because we can just, what do they do for like Schmeagol, like put all the dots all over them and do the motion capture. Like we don't need to have actors look a certain way, they just have to be good at acting. So it's kind of this like revolution of technology and art and entertainment, and yeah.
You got to be careful. You got to figure out where the line is and then be careful not to go over it.
Yes. The rules of robots, right? And then we don't start an uprising.
Please no. I'm not equipped to handle it. Okay, so I want to circle back to San Diego Comic-Con really quick because you pointed out some interesting speculation the other day, and I want to kind of unpack that here.
So one of the big things that people have been speculating, and there's been rumors of it and like kind of some hints, is that Marvel may not be at San Diego Comic-Con. Whether this is just Marvel Studios or Marvel Comics and Studios, we don't know. But the theory is that because D23 is happening in September this year and Marvel is now owned, or at least Marvel, the comic side in the movies, the universe, is owned by Disney, they're going to make Marvel wait until September and do all their big announcements at D23. So I can see why they would do that, because it's now their property, so they want to kind of keep it under their own convention that they have. But that's a big piece of San Diego Comic-Con that would be missing. I mean, that's a huge one chunk of the floor.
Yeah, and a ton of Hall H panels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No you wouldn't get any panels. There would be like no big MCU announcements. You wouldn't get all the celebrities that come and do their signings at the Marvel booth. It's gonna be, if that happens, it's gonna be a very, very weird San Diego. It's already got a feeling of being kind of a recovery year, I guess you could say. Trying to kind of piece together. We've been gone for so long. All the tickets are just rolling over from 2020. So if you wanted to go this year and you didn't already have tickets, you couldn't get any.
Yeah.
I didn't
know that.
So only ticket holders from 2020 who weren't able to go were able to get tickets. I think they did have some that got released. But yeah, so if you didn't have tickets already for the year that it got canceled, you couldn't go this year until next year. So yeah,
that's weird.
It's gonna be different.
Yeah.
Hopefully less crowded though. Hopefully less crowded. I love parents that bring their kids, but hopefully less baby strollers. Like, I don't want to run over kids. I always feel so bad.
You just like plow through them. You don't even see them standing there. No, it's super true.
So hopefully we'll see what this happens. So we'll see. Maybe there's less chaos at San Diego this year, but yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see what comic vendors are going to be there this year. So.
I'm interested to see what the showroom floor is going to look like too, because in 2019, like a lot of those booths were very elaborate. Like Nickelodeon did that insane, like they recreated the Krusty Krab, and like WB had a gigantic, like multi-level booth. So I'm wondering if like, is everyone going to come in swinging like that? Or is it like, excuse me, to what extent is it like a recovery year, like you said?
Yeah, I think it just depends on what releases they have coming out, and I don't know if the scheduling of like COVID restrictions made it where they couldn't, continue filming. So maybe we won't get a bunch of new releases. I don't know. I'm hoping for a good San Diego Comic-Con.
We're gonna have to wait and see.
Hey, Mia, I just want to jump in here real quick because I'm looking at the article and it says that first, Thor: Love and Thunder is July 8th. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is November 11th, and then not until 2023, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is in February 17th. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be May 5th. The Marvels July 28th. So they could just be pushing back stuff till, because there's not that much in the Marvel Studios slate coming up for the rest of the year. So that could be one of the causes or reasons.
They're holding off on all the trailers.
Holding out on us.
So maybe September will be big too for D23. So,
I mean, it'd be cool to hear some announcements no matter what.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's go ahead and we're going to move into, what are we doing next? Trailer. Okay. Totally lost sight of where we were. So we have Natasha back with us again. She's going to walk us through one of her unboxing videos with DST for a super swanky Star Wars figure. And then after she talks about it, we'll come back and give you the details.
Hey everyone, welcome to DST Unboxed. I'm your host, Cannonalex, and on today's show, we have one of the best sharpshooters ever. No, I'm just kidding. We have a stormtrooper. See what I did there? This beautiful piece is a milestone piece from Gentle Giant. I can't wait to open this up. These pieces are always super detailed, gorgeous, gorgeous collectibles. So let's just get right to it. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. This is a serious piece here. Wow. There are so many pieces to this. Super shiny, limited edition piece. Let's start with his body. That might be a good place to start. This would be a really great reference piece for somebody making cosplay, I'm just saying. Oh yeah, like I can't even, yeah, that is on there. Everything's really shiny. The paint application is really great. This is like an action figure, but it's not an action figure. Blaster in the holster, which I'm guessing also has a blaster, holster without the blaster. I'll put that on the side. Wow, even got his rifle. Holy moly. So they have this one. So this arm is really cool. So it's his arm holding the blaster and then his other hand supporting it. And then we got his head here. Oh my gosh, this is serious business, heavy duty. Oh, that's so cool. Look how detailed that is. That is so cool. There we go. Now he can see where he's shooting. That's a lot. These are a lot of pieces for this kind of collectible, and check that out. That's really awesome. So that means these ones go together. Yeah, so that way you can have the blaster or you can have the rifle. That's really fun. So you can make it set up whatever kind of look you want to do. Let's get more detail and cut to the 360. A Gentle Giant LTD release. The troopers are coming. This all-new 1/6 scale statue of an Imperial Stormtrooper stands approximately 12 inches tall and features interchangeable arms so he can hold an E11 blaster rifle or the DLT-19 heavy blaster rifle. Limited to only 1,000 pieces, it comes packaged in a full-color box with a numbered certificate of authenticity. As you can see from the 360, holding the other blaster, he is just such a cool piece. I love that there's so many interchangeable parts. It really takes this collectible up to another level. He's ready to fight for the Empire. To find this, head over to GentleGiantLTD.com and may the Force be with you. I'm your host, Cannonalex, and on today's show, I was gonna say something really clever and then I went blank.
All right.
I love the blooper.
I was about to say the same thing. The bloopers at the end are the best.
My favorite part, though, was when she put the head on and she was like, oh, now he can see where he's shooting. And my initial thought was, but he's still not going to hit anything.
Not going to make any difference. I loved her line at the beginning about, like, one of the best sharpshooters in the galaxy. Okay. You're right.
She's so good.
She's fantastic. This is out already. So if you really liked it, you want to get your hands on it, it is already out in the wild. You can get it at your local comic book shop. If they don't have it in stock, you can use Previews World Toolbox. Again, the best service out there to have them order a copy for you. Head over to previewsworld.com/toolbox to get your hands on this Gentle Giant Milestone Stormtrooper. Ubaldo says bloopers and dad jokes are the best. I love dad jokes.
So good.
They're the best. All right. Speaking of dad jokes, we're going to get our production manager Johnny Rose in here.
No, I'm the resident dad, apparently.
Resident dad. I mean, you make dad jokes from time to time.
Baby, I must be a stormtrooper because I'm sure gonna miss you.
Oh, but
oh my god! Wow.
So bad.
All right, so this week's Social Swamp is near and dear to your heart, Johnny. You're hot about something. What's going on?
It is. This was actually inspired by a conversation that we had a couple weeks ago. So let's just get right into it because it is now Social Swamp time. All right, everyone out there in the nerdosphere, we asked you on social media to tell us which plot holes bother you the most. It can be comics, TV, movies, books, anything, whatever gets in your craw and just, bothers you about any of that type of media. So if you're out there watching, if you have a favorite or least favorite plot hole, let us know in the comments and we'll feature it right now live on the show. But let's get to the comments. We didn't have that many, but the one comment I wanted to feature here kind of leads me into the discussion that we're about to have. So Tyler said, if Biff took the DeLorean back to 1955 and changed the past, how could he return to the same 2015 that Doc and Marty were in so they could return to a changed 1985? 2015 should have changed around Doc and Marty, and they shouldn't have been able to go back. So
oh boy,
this is actually a valid point. So just to address that, in Back to the Future 2, when they go back to 1985, after Biff has stolen like the Gray Sports Almanac and has made his fortune, betting on sports and whatnot, technically, if he had left from that point in time, he'd already made that change. So there would have been no way that he could have gotten the DeLorean back to that 2015. So Doc and Marty should have been stuck there.
Okay,
you follow me?
Yes.
Okay. Basically, all of this arose about 2 weeks ago. I was watching Back to the Future 2 on TV. And have you both seen the movie?
I've seen the first one. I haven't seen all the additional ones.
Okay, so Mia, you know what I'm talking about then.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the scene when they're in 1955, kind of towards the end of the film, and Doc is in the DeLorean floating above Marty, and the DeLorean gets struck by lightning, and that's when it sends him back to 1885, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. It was floating in midair. It wasn't going 88 miles an hour. So, aside from dramatic impact, what is the reason why the DeLorean has to go 88 miles an hour to go back in time? Now, one could say it's to generate the 1.21 gigawatts to make the flux capacitor work.
Yeah.
However, it wasn't going 80 miles an hour when he got struck by lightning and got sent back to 1885. So, why does it have to go 88 miles an hour?
What if it was pre-charged?
Wow, you did not say boot with that, Mia. Came locked and loaded.
I was like, what if it was already charged? He drove it around a little bit for
You'll wind it up a little, get it ready to go.
And then also, this was brought to my attention by, I posted that on a question on social media, and a friend of mine came to me and said, well, okay, so the lightning struck the clock tower in 1955 at 11:55 p.m. or whatever the time was. Mm-hmm. In the first movie, the DeLorean hits that lightning bolt when the cable is going from the top of the or the clock tower down across the street lamp and goes into the DeLorean.
Mm-hmm.
11:55 or whatever the time is 60 seconds long. So there are a 1 in 60 chance that he could have not even hit that lightning bolt at the exact time.
Oh, yikes.
So yeah, the clock tower, it stopped working when the lightning bolt hit it this time. But you have like a 1 minute window.
That's a lot of time.
That's true.
So, so why, in theory, Marty could have just parked the DeLorean right there on the street and just waited for the lightning bolt to hit it.
Oh, you're saying he didn't need to drive into the cable line?
Yeah, because just going off of the mentality of like, if that lightning bolt sent Doc back to 1885 and it was just hovering in midair, wasn't going 80 miles an hour, so there was no real need for Marty to go 88 miles an hour. He could have just parked that DeLorean right there at the bottom, waited for the lightning bolt to come down, and boom, he would have been back. Again,
and he would have had it like on the second.
Yeah, all of it aside, aside from the fact that it's just dramatic impact, just to like build up the tension of the moment, I get that.
Right.
But that to me is like always been like a plot hole that's just stuck in my head. At least for the last 2 weeks. Like I said, I just
yeah, you spent a lot of time thinking about that. That was a very well fleshed out argument.
The thing is, it's like I love Back to the Future. I've always loved Back to the Future. I have like my own little like gigawatt like DeLorean like transformer here.
He's cute.
I know, and it turns into the DeLorean, which like as soon as this came out, I'm like, I need to have this in my life.
I love him.
And I've got two. I've got one here, and I've got one still in the box.
Not removed from box.
Annie's saying hi. Oh, Annie's switched over to YouTube. Annie, I'm glad that she was having problems with the Facebook feed, so I'm glad Annie.
Okay. Welcome back.
Ubala says Johnny's getting heavy. Yeah, this is getting heavy. Great Scott. Brett S saying, hey folks, and Annie says time travel is weird. Yes, it's wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Yeah, that was kind of the first thing I was thinking of when you brought this up was like any movie where you attempt to make a movie about like time travel or play with time. And it's true of like Loki and also Doctor Strange. Like you've immediately opened yourself up to plot holes because there's just it could go wrong 7 ways to Sunday, and it does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Brian says he has the same Transformer toy in his shelf. Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Well, I did like how Avengers Endgame addressed that, how they were going back in time and they couldn't mess up the timeline because if you're traveling from the present, that present becomes your past. And where you're traveling to the past you're traveling to becomes your future. I'm like, okay, that kind of
present
eliminates a lot of that, but I still like Paul Rudd saying, look, Back to the Future is just BS.
Oh.
Damn.
So
again,
if anyone's watching, let me know what some of your favorite or least favorite plot holes are. But I'll
tell you one of my favorite plot holes right now.
Yes, please.
Well, okay, so it's actually I have like a main one and then like apparently a subset of this that was pointed out to me recently. So the first one is just like National Treasure. The whole movie's a plot hole because like you can't just carry around the Declaration of Independence and it's just going to be 100% perfect all of the time. They're just like waving that piece of paper around in the air. That thing would disintegrate the moment you touched it. Yeah. Like no chance can you carry that all over DC and Philly and have it be completely fine. Yep. So that's a plot hole. Secondly, a friend pointed out to me recently, and I need to rewatch it to find this out, but at some point in the movie, allegedly, when he goes to read the Declaration, he starts with the lines, "We the people," which is the Constitution and not the Declaration.
Nice.
So not sure if that's 100% true. If it is, that's a hell of an oversight.
Wow. Someone got fired.
Right.
And he's saying Hulk explained it so well. I agree. I think he did.
Mm-hmm.
Mia, is there any plot holes that you can think of?
So I was thinking of a recent one, and it's from Stranger Things. And I'm not saying anything that hasn't already been seen in the trailer.
So is this for the new season, the new one that's currently on?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So back in season 2, you were introduced to like some of the other like kids, and there was like the one girl that could make people see things with her mind, and like no one liked that whole storyline. Everyone was like, "This is dumb. Why are we doing this?" And then now in the new season, when you meet all the kids, there's no number 8. Did they just get rid of her? Did like everyone just hate them? Like they show 1 through 13. There's not a number 8. They just like did people just like hate the character so much that they just wiped it off the map? Like
just vanished.
they retconned her.
Wow.
I'm like, where is she? She's not even in there. Okay.
Well, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Could that have been after 11's time, or was 11 kind of the last person there. I mean, did they reestablish the program after she left?
I'll have to go back and check to see if 11. I feel like there was a part in season 2 where 11 and her were like in a room together. So I feel like they did know each other.
Maybe I don't know.
I'm just like, what happened to 8?
It's been a while. I mean, the thing is with any new show or any season that comes out, you always need to watch that, previously on, because it's been so long since the last one came out. It's like, I have no idea what the hell happened last time. Please catch me up. I mean, aside from like Obi-Wan, it's like that the whole Star Wars saga is ingrained in my brain. It's like, I know.
Yep.
Let's just get to Obi-Wan, stranded on Tatooine or whatever he's doing. Stranger Things, I'm like, what happened? I remember Billy died, but beyond that, I'm just like, I don't remember what happened or anything like that. I don't know if you've watched a show on Amazon Prime called Upload, which is phenomenal. Ashton, this may or may not be up your alley. It's basically
robots.
Not really. A little bit of it's basically when you die, your consciousness gets transferred up to a digital consciousness. So you get to basically lead a digital afterlife. Oh. And what you lead basically depends upon your payment plan. So you can basically live out your life relegated to like 2 gigs a month, and you can't do whatever you want. Or if you're super rich, you can have unlimited bandwidth to live in a palatial mansion and stuff like that. It's the main actor is Robbie Amell, Stephen Amell from Arrow's brother, and it's so good. Season 1 is so good. But again, getting to the point, season 2 came out, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? I don't remember a damn thing about this show.
Nice, perfect.
But Troy's checking in saying, bravo, Ashton. That's a great point.
Thanks. Thank you.
Hope all is well, Troy.
I accept.
Any other thoughts on that, or are we going to close that down?
I feel the need to say this because you've mentioned Star Wars and it's just in my brain. But I love Rogue One, but I really can't shake the feeling that Disney made a whole movie to cover up the biggest plot hole in Star Wars history, which is that the Death Star could just be easily exploded by just a random rat kid from Tatooine. He just rolls up to the Death Star and is like, me and this X-Wing, pew, pew, pew. And then the whole thing explodes. And it was so easy. And it's like, why did you put all of the time and money and effort into this insane space station with an easily accessible fatal flaw? And then they do Rogue One to explain that it was purposeful.
Jeremy's checking saying, I haven't seen Upload, but Altered Carbon is similar and it's incredible. I've seen Altered Carbon too. That is also really good. It's I think the main actor is Joel Kinnaman, who was in Suicide Squad. I haven't seen the second season. I know that has Anthony Mackie in it, but I have not. Let me know, Jeremy, if season 2 is good, because I would be interested in watching. There's just too much good TV out right now to watch.
Yeah.
And too many good comics, which you can pick up at your friendly local comic shop.
It's true. Facts.
Johnny out.
Wait.
Yes.
Why'd you leave?
Wait, we also have one more. Brian Smith is saying, in TMNT's Secret of the Ooze, Shredder wakes up in the junkyard. So he was there for a year after falling in the garbage truck.
A year? I mean, that sounds good. I don't follow TMNT.
In the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, basically they defeated Shredder and he gets thrown off of a roof into the back of a garbage truck. Casey Jones is like, oops, and then just pulls the lever back, supposedly crushing Shredder. And then the second one, Secret of the Ooze, it's a shot where basically it zooms into a trash heap and all of a sudden Shredder's hand just crawls like he's trying to claw up from the muck and the refuse of the garbage dump. But Shredder woke up and was there for a year after. Was he really down there for an entire year?
That was my question. A full year? That's wild.
Maybe he needed to regenerate. I don't know.
Right.
Jeremy's saying it's good, but not as good. Okay, well, I'll still watch it though. Yes. Anyway, you were saying, wait, come back. Yes. What can I do for you?
Oh, that's right. I forgot what I was going to say. The next segment is the poll, which we need your input for.
Yes, we do. We all love a good villain, love to hate them. That is, of all these iconic villains, only one can stay and continue to terrorize our heroes. The rest have to go. Who are you picking to stick around? And the choices were Joker, Thanos, Darkseid, and Magneto. So, Mia, out of these four, which villain would you be picking to stick around?
I'm gonna go with Darkseid. I feel like Joker, that's proven to be a little bit too easy. Thanos, we figured that one out. Magneto could pose some trouble. Darkseid, I think, would just be like the toughest one of those. I think if I really wanted to like terrorize them.
Ashton, I know you're not too big on the superhero comics, but do you have any input on this?
Yeah. I would pick Joker because he just seems like he won't go away. Like he's just a repeat offender for the end of time. And also, I love that he doesn't really have a superpower. Like his superpower is just that he loves anarchy and chaos. And I think that's a really interesting angle.
Interesting. Well, I should have said this earlier, but I want to put it out there to people watching. Like, let us know in the comments who you would pick, because I might use those as my source for who I'm going to pick. Because I'm kind of torn here, because I do agree with you, Ashton, in terms of the Joker. I think again, he has no superpower. It's just the ability to want to cause chaos. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Right.
Thanos, I lean towards him, but I think that's just because he's recently on my mind because of the MCU films. It's just weird to me to think that I would have never have guessed in a million years that like the name Thanos would have been trending on social media. But it ended up doing it because of like Endgame and Infinity War.
Right.
Darkseid, honestly, I am not a huge DC guy, so I know of him. I've never really read any stories about him, so I don't know that much about him. Magneto, his tendencies sway both sides. He's good, he's bad. He wants to, enslave mankind. He wants to just make the world a better place for mutants. So I don't know where he's at. His motivations are kind of tricky. I'm gonna have to go with Thanos personally.
All right.
Wow, 45.3% are saying Magneto.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
He is a very fascinating character. I mean, his backstory, his like family being like, killed in Auschwitz and like a concentration camp. Like you really, out of all of these, I feel like he's the one that you can really root for the most, because a lot of times he makes pretty decent points.
Okay, that's valid. I can get behind that. So
I think that's a fair point. But thank you everyone for voting. There is still time to vote. 2 days left. We have only 139 votes. Ooh, someone's racing.
There's a race car.
Magneto's a hero, so I pick him. So, well, it depends on what era. Depends on what era of comics you're reading.
Spicy take.
Yeah.
All right, so we've arrived at the comic shop shout out portion of the show. So this week's comic shop shout out goes to Source Comics and Games in Rossville, Minnesota. It comes from Sputnik 218. And they say that it's their favorite place to get comics. So we'll show you some pictures inside of Source Comics at the end of the show. You can check out their shop a little bit. If you want us to shout out your local comic book shop on the show, find us on social media, tag your shop. If they don't have a handle, just leave their name and use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We'll find your local comic book shop, shout them out on the show, and give them some love.
And I actually have to co-sign that, because I've been to Source Comics and Games about 4 years ago. We went out there to do some video content, and one of the reps out there that works with Diamond took us there, and it is big. It is huge. Ooh. There's so many comics in there. Like their news releases wall is amazing. Their trade paperback section is incredible. Like their gaming section is like almost at least like probably a third of the store. But if you're in the Roseville, Minnesota area, like just definitely do yourself a favor and stop by Source Comics and Games, because they are amazing. I've been there. So
co-signed. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Brian says, I support my local comic shop all the time. Thank you, Brian. Hey. That's what we want to hear. All right, let's see. I guess we're coming to the end here. Got through this one a little quickly, which is, not sure how I feel about that. All right, so what do we got to plug here? Mia, where can people find you if they want to come hang out with you more?
So you can find me on all of my social media. It's Animia Official, except for on Facebook, I'm Animia Cosplay. And then just head to your local comic shop, look for Betty Page, The Alien Agenda, issue number 4, see if they still have any. If not, make sure to pre-order issue number 5 or hop on a pull box and go ahead and get that ordered through that there. And hopefully you guys enjoy the story and will like the super cool conclusion of it. So go check it out.
I love that. Ubaldo says, see you next week. Come back soon, Animia. Yeah, she'll definitely be back.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to come hang out with me, you can find me at Free Comic Book Day on all the things. Troy is at Previews World, also on all the things. If you head over to the Previews World website, we got some cool stuff up for you there. There's a new Start Here article, which if you're looking to try out a new comic book, or you're new to comics, or you're trying to, just find something new, this is a perfect article. It gives you all of the best jumping on points and all of the new number ones that are in comic shops this week. So we make it easy for you to find a starting place. And there's also a lot of preview pages in there if you want to kind of check them out ahead of time and get a feel for it. We also have a cool interview with Porto, who's launching their Saturday AM print, which is an interesting and new take to manga. And we have an interview where we've spoken with all their creators to kind of get an inside look at that. And it's a very comprehensive interview. So if you really want to dig into that, I highly recommend it. And they provided loads of cool interior art, as you can see. So definitely worth a scroll through, if for no other reason than to look at the art. And you can find all of those things and more on the Previews World website. So, and there's Mia again. I think that does it for us. I think we're wrapping it up. So
we didn't go too far off the handles. I'm kind of sad.
I know, that's why I was like, dang, only 45 minutes. Like, could have done better. Van says, the monthly previews is my addiction. Pull lists keep getting longer and longer. I think I mentioned this last time Mia was on the show, but you've literally changed my approach to the previews catalog when you pointed out it's the same thing as like the Scholastic, like book fair things. Now I'm like in there with like a Sharpie, like circling stuff.
That's what I do when I like dog ear the pages and I'm like, I want this, and this.
Yeah, it will ruin you forever. You will have to spend all of your money on comics for the rest of time.
The previews catalog just needs pencils and Lamborghini posters. That's all we
really make this a whole thing. All right. I have no clue what Troy's sign-off is, even though we do this every single week. But I know that it's something about a spinner rack. So we'll see you guys at the spinner rack.
I'll step in. So basically, it's, thank you again for watching. This has been Previews World Week. Oh, we almost forgot. Ashton, one more time. What is coming up in a few weeks?
Oh, the 200th episode on July 6th. Here, be there, be square. We're going to be in studio. Johnny's going to have a load of cool graphics for us. It's going to be a whole thing. We're changing the time. We're switching it up. It's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern time, right after your lunch break. If you're on the East Coast, come hang out.
Yes, please do. But until then, I'm producer Johnny Rose.
There it is. All right. Yeah, I'm Ashton Greenwood.
And over there we have...
I'm Anna Mia.
And we will see you at the spinner rack. Catch you later.
Don't forget that you can catch Previews World Weekly streaming live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific at Previews World on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.